What is up, bros, bears, moms, mommies, and everything in between? As always, this is Patrick, Full Primal Power, your mom's favorite power lifter, top 50 power lifter of all time. Welcome back to another episode of disrespecting the tiny little circles on the tiny little bars for our tiny little mental health. What we got going on today, it is still the first week of peaking, and it is our first deadlift day of peak. The structure that I have for peak right now, I bench, then I deadlift, then I squat. And then I've got an extra day where I kind of do a lot of maintenance work, some accessory work, and it's an optional day, but we're gonna really focus on doing the recovery aspects of the shenanigans that we got going on in the gym. Today is a deadlift day, week one. We've got a couple weeks before deload. I mean, last week was a deload, kind of. I went to the gym once and I didn't deadlift or squat. So, yeah, life got in the way. But what we got going on today, I believe, is 80% deadlift for a 3x2. The difference between peaking and not peaking is a lot of volume. When you are in your off season, quote unquote off season, because there's not actually a true off season when it comes to powerlifting, because the off season is when you get all of your progress, and then peaking is where you make very little progress, but you consolidate your gains during peak and you become a big filthy PR machine by honing in your CNS. And so in the off season, we hit so many PRs. I am actually surprised at how many PRs we hit in the off season. We hit rep PRs on squats. We hit rep PRs on deadlift. We hit volume PRs on deadlift. The amount of PRs I hit on deadlifts, I mean, the general term, whatever, is a PR is a 1 rep max, a new 1 rep max. But if you want to prolong yourself in the sport of powerlifting, you got to be able to have a little bit of fun with it. So for those homies out there who think that rep PRs are stupid, they are stupid, because it is a good temperature gauge as to figuring out where you are in your training. If you hit a rep PR, there's a couple of different ways, there's 3 or 4 different ways to prove that you have gotten stronger. There is add a rep to a set. So if your PR at 135 is 5 reps, if you do 6 reps, congratulations, you're stronger. The next is to add a set. If you've only ever done 135 for 5, and that's your top set, and you've done drop downs, but you're feeling a little shisty, a little swifty, if Rick and Morty were to determine anything, and you add an extra set, maybe 1 or 2 sets, and that is a volume PR. You have hit a new volume PR with 135. And then there is the one way that everyone looks to and ignores everything else, which is adding weight to the bar. Adding weight to the bar, you hit a new PR. If you've only ever hit 135 for 5 and you do 145 for 5, congratulations, you got a PR. And it is nothing to sneeze at. It's nothing to scoff at. Every PR is a good PR. And then the last is to reduce rest time. If you reduce your rest time, you are directly increasing your ability to recover. So your recoverability from doing stuff is a really hard thing to track, really hard thing to get your head around, to wrap your head around, because it's not a number. A lot of it is with the flaws of RPE, where RPE is your feeling gauge. We're going to talk about our feelings for a moment. It's how the bar feels. Do you feel more or less recovered? It is a way of tracking your strength. If you feel like you need less time to recover from a set of 5 at 135, we're sticking with 135 at this point, then you have increased your ability to recover, meaning it impacts your central nervous system less. Cool beans, you're stronger, and you are increasing your ability to express your strength, which powerlifting is all about. Not just controlling the weight on the bar, but your ability to express your strength given the constraints of the sport, which means hitting depth and following the rules and standards of powerlifting. So what we got going on today, 3x2 at, I believe, 80%. If you know anything about the Perlepens chart, we are noodling our way around the Perlepens chart, and pretty much every week going forward, except for the final rocket booster week of peak, we will be doing 3 sets of whatever, I believe, except for deload weeks, because deload weeks, there's 2 different ways to deload. There's taking a 5x1 to 3 at 50% of your training max, so that would be 50% of 95%. If you're not using a training max, get yourself reassessed. And then there is also the more modern high-level lifter method of doing deloads, which is taking your lightest weight of your previous block, reducing the sets and reps by half. So, like we talked earlier, increasing reps, increasing sets, increasing weight. It's kind of not ignoring all 3 of those. I am kind of modifying that a little bit. I'm doing that, but I'm taking 5% away. So this week is our lightest week when it comes to squats and bench. Not when it comes to deadlifts. I went to the, I was on episode 302 of the Table Talk podcast from Elite FTS, and in the goodie bag they gave me a leather-bound notebook protector, and that's what I'm keeping my peaking numbers in, because it's more significant to me, and I'll be able to but like I used to just track things on my calendar, be like, oh, it's 90% weak, I gotta hit this on this lift, but no. We got it written down, and amazingly, somehow, it's kind of funny. We're at the digital age of things where actually having pens and pencils laying around is not a real thing anymore. So at the gym, I was trying to check off that I finished my bench day yesterday, and I couldn't find a pen or a pencil. And the owner of the gym had to look around, and he found one that worked. And it was the pen that he was using to, he's in the middle of remodeling the gym because they just expanded. And he doesn't just slap equipment in a gym and call it good. He prettifies it. If you notice, all the backgrounds and everything that I do in this gym looks pretty. There's even the fake plants to give vibes. Everything's got outlines, trims, everything. Alec from Oasis Barbell, or Oasis Powerlifting Club, is doing great stuff when it comes to making the gym the prettiest gym I've ever been in. He also keeps it really clean. He's got 2 staff members who are only there to keep things clean, and it's phenomenal. Anyway, so we got our deadlift day today. I am stuck in Boston traffic because realtors will say, hey, this house is an hour away from Boston. No, Boston's an hour away from Boston. And I just got out of work, and now I'm driving to Hyde Park, which is where Oasis Powerlifting Club is. And I will see you guys when I get there. I'm currently going 15 miles per hour, and this is the fastest I've gone the entire recording of this video. I will see you boys and girls there. Oh, there's police. Hoo-wee! Help your Uncle Jack off his horse. We had ourselves a deadlift day today. So, what did we do? We started off foam rolling, because foam rolling is good at making sure your back is good. So we did that. And then we moved on to deadlift. So we started off with 1 red, felt good. Did that for a set of 5, 2 reds, set of 4. 3 reds for a set of 3. Threw on the belt, I believe, for 4 reds for a set of 3 or 2. I lost my train of thought there for a minute, because the reps in this one don't matter. What really matters is the variable that we were playing with today. So we worked up to 620 which is 80% for a 3x2, which is kind of odd to me because I've been going way over 620 for a couple of blocks now. And the old rule of thumb that I've found previously is that you can only go above 85% for 6 weeks before your body completely implodes, which is why deloads are important, because deloads offload that fatigue and it kind of resets that clock a little bit. We got a 12-week peak coming up, and we will be going above 85% for a large majority of it. So this week we had a 3x2 at 80%, which was around 620 pounds, 621, something like that. So if you've been following me for a long time, you may remember I posted a video about 5 or 6 years ago detailing how much creatine you should use. And that's a great video. You'll see me with crazy hair probably, looking like George Tsoukalakos from Ancient Aliens, really describing and getting into detail. I think I even busted out the Microsoft OneNote to do calculations. That may have been my pulse press video. But anyway, so creatine. I started creatine this past week. In New England, it has been over 90 degrees for the past 4 days. I chose an absolute terrible time to start using creatine. Not start, but I've been on 5 grams of creatine for a while. Sophie got some chewable creatine, and they both were awful, and they tasted terrible. So I took it upon myself to finish those off, to unload her creatine, and I was noticing some pretty good gains. So bench day yesterday didn't feel super fantastical, and deadlift day today didn't feel super fantastical. And I'm not sure if my body's loading up on creatine right now, because the amount of creatine I'm on right now is 20 grams. 20 grams of creatine. And back in the day, I was able to one-to-one figure out what kind of gains I'm going to be able to establish by increasing my creatine from 5 grams to, at the time, it was between 25 and 50 grams of creatine. And there's a whole calculation on how much creatine you need per body weight, because 5 grams of creatine for a 97-pound lifter and a 400-pound lifter, they look different. They look different. Their bodily needs are different. So why are the supplementations the same? And so the I don't remember the author of the article that I referenced, but it's an article on Schwarzenegger.com. How much creatine do you need? And I also have the creatine video. But creatine is a fantastic supplement. I've noticed this past week that I have less brain fog, and I've been more on my mental game, and I've experienced less depression, anxiety, and panic attacks, and that's just from increasing my creatine. On the flip side, the downsides of creatine are that it is a diuretic. Your body requires more water. Normally, the conventional term diuretic means that your body is expelling more water. But in the case of creatine, while you're loading up, your body is absorbing more water. So I weighed in at 350. I don't remember if it was yesterday or 2 days ago, but 2 weeks ago, when I hit my 652 triple PR, I was 352, 353-ish, getting close to 355. So I'm lighter than I was back 2 weeks ago, but I had to increase my holes on my belt. I've got a lever belt by 1 because of this increased amount of creatine. Because what creatine does is it pulls more water into your body, and creatine binds with water molecules to have, well, it's adenine triphosphate, which means it's got 3 phosphate groups. And water is important at upholding these. So what happens when you contract a muscle or you do any movement, which is contracting muscles at a base level, science-based lifting, is you get nuclear fission in your muscles where your ATP binds off and becomes ADP, adenine, or AB. It goes from 3 phosphate groups to 2, and the phosphate group, it nuclear fission, and it binds off of the ATP, and the ATP becomes ABP, biphosphate. That would make sense based on Latin roots. I don't actually know the name. I feel like it's ADP for some stupid reason. But what creatine does is it grabs those phosphate groups along with water molecules, and it brings them back to the ATP so you can recover faster. Back in the day, I was like, I wonder what kind of response my body will have, and it's similar to performance and ability to express strength as D-ball. So take enough creatine and you can simulate PEDs, which is a fantastical thing because PEDs are terrible for your body, and it is way better and way easier on your liver and kidneys to take creatine than it is to take chemicals that will increase and enhance your performance. And then you get the idea, what if I add them on top of each other? That is another thing completely, which is also fantastical. So I increased my creatine up to 15 to 20 grams this week, but it has been extremely hot, and I've been struggling to keep up with my hydration because I drink about a gallon a day, and I need to increase to about 1.5 gallons, maybe 2 gallons a day. Lord have mercy on my pee hole as I increase that. The way that your bladder works is kind of weird because it's not a sack, it's more like a sponge, and that's why you're able to squeeze it with, is it your prostate? No, if you tickle your prostate, you come the right way. Anyway, so first set at 620, we had the belt in the regular position, and it was too tight. I struggled to get down to the bar, and super heavyweights have a lot of struggles getting down to the bar. So add in a belt that is too tight, and it just makes things so much worse, so much grosser, which is why deficit deadlifts are so good for super heavyweights. And then also add in the fact that if you have your belt too tight on deadlifts, you're going to pass out. So I didn't get close to passing out. I was just really uncomfortable and unable to get a full breath in. So that was not cool. So I brought the belt out one hole for set 2 and 3. Felt way better. I was able to get into a good starting position, and I felt like it moved better, and it didn't really strain me as much. It's kind of weird right now because I'm in the first week of peak, which first week of peak is always awful, and you always get smacked in the face, and you're like, am I actually strong? Am I as strong as I usually am? And did I get weak over the off season even though I hit all these PRs? Yeah. So, there's puberty coming in. What's my brain thinking? It did not feel good. I hit a 2-pound PR, which I probably could have done 25 pounds 2 weeks ago for my deadlift PR triple. Was it triple? Quadruple, I think. Because I think 700 is my triple PR. Quadruple, yeah. Set of 4 at 652, which I probably could have done 675. And I've been super easy breezy, happy cover girl. Maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe I'm just jacked. So I've been going heavier than 80% for so long that 80% isn't 80% anymore, but it felt more than 80% this week. I'm finding a really concerning trend that the week after a deload, I'm weaker. And I think back in the day when I was a younger lifter, I say that as I'm 28, which really isn't that old. I used to be able to either take an entire week off and come back stronger, or take a really like light deload, 50%. And the new methods of deloading are way different, vastly different than what I had been doing in the past. And this whole concept of detraining, which I didn't really think was a thing back in the day, and now it's really coming to fruition that it's probably something to think about, which is why the new standards for deloads are coming up Millhouse. But usually week 2, week 3 are feeling better. So this week I've got 75% squats, which is 760, but when I was prepping for the animal cage, I missed 750 for one. And that was was that the last time that I wore heels? I don't know. But that was the last training session that I used with my old coach. I was like, I'm done with your ish. Because there's no reason you should be missing 75% ever. So we're in the process of increasing our CNS. The goal of this week for squats is rap acclimation. So I don't know if 716, which I've been doing triples. I've done triples with that in sleeves earlier in this block. So I should be good for 750, 760 for triples in reps. It's just before my coach had me doing less than 50% for sets of like 5 or 6. And I'm like, what's even the point of this? Like, I'm not getting any stimulus. I'm not getting muscle growth. You're just hamstringing me. I feel like I'm getting weaker every single meet. And my numbers did drop every single meet. And I was not happy with that, which is why I moved on. Not to mention a whole lot of other things that were more personal than just a lack of performance on the platform. But yeah, we finished off our deadlift day with some really deep dumbbell RDLs, touched the floor. We did some single leg hamstring curls. We did some single arm isolateral rows. Sophie had herself a bench day where she worked up to 80% for I think it was like a 3 or 4 by 5, which I'm jealous of. If I can do 80% of any of my lists for sets of 5, that would be fantastical. But alas, I cannot right now. I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or my numbers are just like the manipulation of numbers is just being different and weird, and I don't know what's going on. But usually weights feel lighter on certain days, and they haven't been feeling lighter for a while. So I don't know what's up with that. I probably just need to be better at sleeping and recovering and being the best version of myself. I probably need to clean up my diet because I haven't been tracking macros. I've been eating clean, but also not at the same time. I've been enjoying life more and not really zeroing in on specific variables. But it might be time to tighten up the belt on that and move forward. So, got to get better at getting my steps in. I only got about 7,500 steps the past couple days. My average for the week is 6,666 steps, which is not good whatsoever. I want to get that average above 8,000. Ideally above 10,000. Get 10,000 steps on training days, 15,000 on non-training days, and get back to training my cardio. But I'm not going to do cardio, like cardio sprints during peak. So it's like, did I not do good enough work in the off season? Blah, blah, blah. This off season was a lot of mitigation of not physical injuries, but mental injuries that accumulated over the course of 3, 4, 5, 7 years. And cleaning up your life is going to clean up your performance on the platform. I'm going into this meet hoping for a good performance. I have a strong feeling like I'm going to have a good performance. But really at the end of the day, I just want to go in and have fun because I'm old now. Holy goodness, I'm old. I hate how that's a thing that I can say. I am old now. I'm only 28. So if he says I'm practically 30, I'm like, I'm 28, not 29. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like the video, leave a like. Share with your dad to remind him what he could have been and missed out on becoming, because this is what a real man looks like. And I mean, I guess you could send it to your mom too for the exact same reason. Like, comment, subscribe, and just be a good human. Be a good guy. Be a good girl. Good girl. And have a good one. Patty out.